Reno travels all around the world. I hope you get inspired about what you see. Apostle of greatness, Reno is a master. Only one man against the whole world in large. Fighting with the monsters, poverty I can't stand. That's why Reno is.
Thank you for joining me on my masterclass. Now, today I want to talk about something that has concerned me for the past 48 hours. Now, with the war in Ukraine, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, we've seen what's happened at the border. We've seen that some black Africans have done videos, and it's led to an uproar all over the continent. And people are accusing the Ukrainian border officials of racism and discriminating against black folk. Now, here's the thing, if you follow me, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I've done a lot, including put my money and my time and traveling around to protect and project the interest of black people, black Africans, not just black Africans, Caribbeans, black people all over the world. But I want to tell you what is happening in the Ukrainian borders with Romania, Poland, and Hungary. It isn't racism. We are pointing it out as racism. I saw a report in South Africa's the Globe and Mail. They said that they were complaining that when Ukrainians come, they let them go in, but they don't let us black people go. You see, it is not racism. You have to understand that in an emergency situation like this, a government will look out for their own citizens first, their own people. It's not even unique to Ukraine. Governments exist for the advancement of the good of the governed. They don't exist for the advancement of the good of foreigners. So it's a social contract. You vote for a government, and then that government protects your interests against the interests of others. So it happens, where the Ukrainian officials to prioritize foreigners over Ukrainians, they will be in trouble. This war is going to be over. There's going to be law and order returned to Ukraine. And those border officials will be disciplined for doing that. I'll give you a very good example. During the Second World War, with the incident at Dunkirk, when the British Expeditionary Force, they were kind of like surrounded at Dunkirk. They were surrounded at Dunkirk. You had the French forces fighting. And then the British Prime Minister had to send boats and ships and all kinds of vessels to evacuate the British. Now, this is a historical fact. When French people tried to enter those boats and those ships and those vessels, the British naval authorities told them, no, British first, British first. You have to protect your own people, prioritize them in emergency and even in regular times. So, for example, if you are coming to maybe like a country like Britain and they give you a visa, they're going to stamp on your visa that, look, you cannot partake in social services. You cannot put a charge on public funds because you're not their citizen. In 2015, I believe it was in about August 2015 rather, in the northeast of Nigeria, Boko Haram, they attacked the border towns between Nigeria and Cameroon. And then people, refugees in their tens of thousands, began fleeing into Cameroon. The Cameroonian border guards, they call them gendarmes, they allowed first the Cameroonian citizens to enter before they allowed Chadian and Nigerian citizens to enter. There's nothing wrong about that. But I want to ask you a question. Now, especially black South Africans, I was seeing their reaction on Twitter and on Instagram, and then I read their own paper, the Globe and Mail, which is the biggest paper in South Africa, and I saw how they were condemning the treatment being meted out to black Africans in Ukraine. 2 years ago, there were waves of xenophobic attack by black South Africans. I'm going to repeat that again. Not white South Africans, black South Africans, black like me. They were attacking other black Africans from other parts of Africa. Nigeria, Somalia, even Zimbabwe, which is quite close to them, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Kenya, Tanzania. They were attacking them. They gave them a name, Makwere Kwere. They attacked them, they killed several, hundreds died. You can remember that. If you don't remember that, go back and you check the records. They looted their properties. They burned their properties. It was terrible. Now, in all these incidences that has happened in Ukraine since the war began, how many incidents of looting against black Africans have you heard in Ukraine? No, not one. There's not been even one report that Ukrainians have looted the properties of black Africans. There's not been one report that one black African has been killed. Not one has been killed. There's not been any report that a black African has been beaten in the streets. No. So if we in Africa do not love ourselves, how do we expect others to love us? That means scripture says it there, love your neighbor as yourself. So that means there has to be love. We don't have group interests in Africa. You arrive as an African in another African country, and then you see that they want to prioritize white Europeans before you. So let's deal with our issues in Africa, and especially South Africa. I'm very disappointed in South Africa. So you know it is wrong. Then what about what you did? Have you paid any reparations to the black people that were killed, that their properties were looted and destroyed? And here you are there complaining when Ukrainian officials are rightly prioritizing their own people over foreigners. My name is Ronald Mokri. If I've pissed you off, I'm very glad to have pissed you off. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.